Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's VAG Technic. We are not in the garage because we are traveling to the garage and currently we are in traffic. So believe it or not, someone in the UK was watching our YouTube videos. Amazing. And that someone has a car in the garage. So the garage where the car originally was wanted like over £7,000 for the repair. And it sounded a bit crazy because they told her like they checked the fuel tank, fuel filter, I don't know what, and they found loads of metal bits from the high pressure fuel pump, obviously, and that's why the car is not running. So we are going to the garage now. I believe it's a Touareg. I think it is a Touareg, and we'll be diagnosing the car. So the story behind it, how it happened: the car was perfectly fine. And all of a sudden on the motorway, steady low RPM, the coil lights start flashing, the car comes to a dead stop, couldn't start anymore. When I asked her if the car is actually cranking, can you crank it? She told me on a booster pack, yeah, it will turn, but it's turning very hard. So I believe that will be the case of failing injector, or injector already failed, and it's just putting so much fuel into the combustion chamber that it's hydrolocking himself, which is not the first time it happened. And unfortunately it's really hard to diagnose it because obviously you can't start the car, you can't check the values, but we will try to start the car, we will force it to start it, and at least we will have a look at the values, like what's going on and what are the values. So at this point, low RPM, the engine is running, harder it will run, or even harder it will start, because it doesn't have sort of the dynamic to spin that quickly and have extra diesel in the cylinder. But we will see, maybe I'm wrong. Obviously we will try to cut the bill from £7,500 to a single injector replacement, and we'll see how it goes. Yesterday the owner was a bit stressed because I told her I'm a YouTube mechanic. I have a certificate as well. And we'll see how it goes. So we're gonna be in the garage in a few minutes and we're gonna do the diagnostic and checks. It says fuel pressure regulator open circuit.
Is it unplugged?
Okay, so you heard the sound of the engine cranking and seizing at the same time. So it's hydro-locking because of the one injector. High fuel pressure is not building up. We also have a fault code with that regulator on the rail, and it looks to be plugged in. Whoever was working on the car had loads of fun because there's diesel everywhere. I don't see the injector seals leaking. Philip, do you see anything? Yeah, it looks good, so probably it's just a failed injector really. So yeah, we have a brake cleaner ready to start it up, unleashed, and we have to check which injector is overfueling. Oh man. Okay, number 3. We are in the workshop with Mr. Doggo. Very naughty doggo, and Mr. Philip has his A3 on the run because he got a coolant leak and he will be doing some kind of a walnut cleaning and stuff. Meanwhile, we have here a non-original oil filter because TPS is closed. We also have here non-genuine Bosch injector because TPS is too expensive, and we'll be removing number 3. So number 3 injector is over there, and we have to remove the whole intake, probably the part of the filter, disconnect it all. We're gonna have a look. I don't think the copper washer is dead because there's nothing what I can see from the top like it was leaking, and we're gonna fit it and coat it. Hopefully that will sort out the problem. Afterwards we have to go for a test drive and probably DPF cleaning. So again, this is the code what needs to be written into the engine ECU after replacement. We're gonna take the old one out, see why it failed, and we're gonna fit the new one in. Uh-oh.
Copper washer's gone.
I remember that condition. Where's the washer? Gone forever. Oh my god, bro. Wow. Sad condition. Sad condition. Very precise deep cleaning. Good. Sweet. So the situation is, engine is running, which is good. However, I'm not really happy with the injector value. So you can see number 3 is new, that's mine is like hell. But number 1, not good. Number 2, I wouldn't say it's good. Number 5 is minus. Number 4 is like slightly. But if I'm gonna start rising the RPM, fuel pressure is good. So that's all right. But look at number 1, guys. Yeah. So I think if one of the washers was gone, the other one will be like in a sad condition. Smoking like hell. And yeah, we have to call the owner and see what she will say. So meanwhile we're waiting for the parts. The owner told us to lift the car up and have a look and tell her whatever it needs doing. So Touareg is on the ramp. We have Michelin cross pilots, and they're from 2022 tires. They're not like low in the middle, but they are definitely worn out, and they already start cracking, if you can see. The outer sides just look bad a bit. So yeah, from underneath, proper 4-wheel drive car. There was something having a dessert over there, something like a living creature. And from underneath, it is not that bad for a Touareg, obviously. Spring, shock absorber, okay. The tire from inside is worn, so I would suggest it needs a tracking or something. And uh-oh. Hello, Mr. Shock Absorber. What happened to you, sir? And the spring is like, it's not broken, but it might be broken very soon. So I will suggest a shock and a spring, and if you're doing one, maybe you should do both, maybe, but that's just my opinion. Otherwise, it looks like a car still. We did have a few Touaregs which have a problem with the subframe bushings, but this one looks good to me. And again, the front tires from inside, the edges are worn out, so you can do the tracking on them in the front. Engine wise, it's not leaky, but I can see from the injector what we replaced over there, it's a bit greasy, oily, but otherwise it looks dry. It looks very dry. Again, tire from inside, worn out, and I believe this will be the problem. Why? The bush, all the bushing is cracky crack. So I think these are still the genuine arms, so 11 years old. I think they did the job but probably it's time because it's a heavy car. It will be flexing on there, and there actually might be a problem. So if she will put a new tire on there, it will even out the tire again. But I have no idea what we're gonna do with the shocks and springs, because I know it's a problem to buy anything on a Touareg when it comes to stuff like that, and I don't think it will be cheap. So let's call the owner, let's find out what's the plan, and also where we can get all the prices and parts from and stuff. So we are doing a quick comparison of parts what I never heard of. Yeah, shock absorber, rear one, for £62. I never heard of the brand. Then we have something what I heard of mainly, which is 83, but I don't know, bro. It's just. And then we have Bilstein. Bilstein is 268. Compared to genuine, not much of a difference. And springs on the rear. This is a spring from a pen. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the spring, which is on there now, like a proper one. So, I mean, they're cheap, but I can guarantee you if you're gonna fit these springs, the Touareg will be just scraping on the exhaust how low it's gonna be, and it will be really unstable on the road. So yeah, we're gonna ask the owner, we gotta give it the option like genuine, non-genuine, and we'll see what will be the decider. Okay, so I spoke with the owner of the vehicle. I did told her the prices and everything what I thought might have happened if you not use the genuine parts. Especially, I can't guarantee the height of the vehicle as it is now will be the same after we put some aftermarket coil springs on there. And also, we can't get anywhere else than the website what you've seen, which is a bit like stuff what I never heard before. So the decision is everything's going genuine. Rear shocks, rear springs, front suspension arms, both lower suspension arms. We're going to do a full service and everything. But on the beginning, because the diagnostic still shows higher values on number 1, 2 and 5, I believe, we're going to take the rest of the injectors out. We will check how the copper seal looks like. We will start it afterwards and check if it doesn't require any more injectors maybe. So that will be the first thing. If that will be okay, we will go ahead with the rest of the stuff, and tomorrow I have to price up the tires as well. So we'll see how that goes. Right, so we took all the injectors out. It wasn't that bad, unless, well, we have to use Mr. Jigger to take them out. When it comes to inside of the cylinder head where the injector sit, it looks clean. So it wasn't like completely blowing, but unfortunately, you can see on this cylinder on the bottom corner, it was like a small exhaust leak over there. So the injectors, they look very dirty, but this is mainly the worst washer. What was there, you can see the state of it. It was literally completely blowing through, I believe. So that's why you should do it every 40,000 kilometers. The other ones are in very sad condition, and 3 to 1, the car will come to a dead stop again with the same issue, but on a different cylinder. And if it's gonna go to the same garage, you will need another £7,000 to repair it. So we're gonna clean them all up. We will clean the whole cylinder head where the injector goes and everything, vacuum clean it and clean the surface for the new copper washers. Then everything will be assembled. We have all new O-rings, all the copper washers. Also we have new bolts. We still have to replace the one bolt, which was just a tryout when we swapped the injector, new one over there. And then we'll be taking out the fuel filter before we start up the first time. So we gotta check if there's really metal in it, because I don't believe it. Meanwhile, this is the air filter, was meant to be replaced in January. Maybe it was, maybe not, we will never know, because the date which is on here, it's wet, can't read it. But I don't know how many miles it did, but it doesn't look good to me. What do you think? Okay guys, so we have the next day. Suspension arms, genuine, most expensive. Shock absorbers, coil springs. We have all these dust covers, off-centric bolts, nuts with washers, and all the assembly what we need for the rear suspension actually when it comes to the shocks and springs. These arms were the only thing what I can get from Euro car parts, but the difference in between the genuine and the aftermarket was like minimum. So currently we will assemble the whole rear shocks and everything together. We will try to drop off the old ones, which looks fairly easy, but it's never easy. So what we have to do in the back, we have 2 bolts here, then we have another 2 over there, and then there's a main bolt from underneath. So we gotta be quick because we're going for trucking today, last day, last chance, last opportunity, so let's get to it. So we took out the bolts. They are longer and shorter. Longer ones are at the back, shorter ones are in the front. All 4 of them went down nicely. We're gonna grease them a bit afterwards, and we will go from underneath. So both of them are out, as you can see. This is the leaky one, and this is the coil spring, which will go kaboom in a very short time. So we'll be using the top mount along with the cover. We have to unscrew these 4 bolts, that's just the cover, for a nut, which is there for a shock. And we'll be using the whole top of the shock absorber, actually just going to replace everything to the bottom. So the shock absorber, springs and the rubbers and dust covers are put back together. We clean up the top mount a bit. Both of them are ready to go on. All that is going in a scrap, and we're going to fit it onto the car. So this is before.
Yeah, so rear cambers, both sides were within spec but out. Rear toe was out and front toes were out. We've now pulled everything back into spec. Thrust angles, both steer ahead, everything.
Sorted. We are back from the trucking. It was a very quick process because we have very limited time, but I will show you what was done, how we did it, and everything. Meanwhile, we have a new fuel injector here again. So number 1 is still showing high values. I'm not really happy with it, and it's getting close to 2 milligrams per stroke, which is a lot. So to remove the injector again, intake pipe, this part of the air filter gotta come off, and I can smell diesel and I can see diesel. What the guys before us was disconnecting this return. We have to check. But anyways, new injector coming in, we have to code it, and I'll show you the values after the replacement. Magic. Very nice. So guys, we changed the injector. Number 1, you see in the values, much better. I'm happy with it now. So obviously if you have really high values, like in this case, you definitely need the injector. Sometimes it can be just a couple washers, but not all the time. So I'm happy with it now. We can open up the oil filter. We're going to drain the oil out. We also have to replace this parking sensor because the whole parking system is actually down. If one of your sensors is not working, the whole parking system will be dead. You got to find out which parking sensor is faulty. You got to replace it to make it work again. Then we're going to lift the car up to drain the oil, and I'll show you everything from underneath, how we sort out the whole suspension and everything. That was a bit of a pain, but let's untie the oil filter. So the oil is very juicy. While I was showing you the underneath, I'm really hoping it will not drip in my eyes and behind my hoodie and everywhere. So the bottom arms, as you can see, brand new. You see in the bushings, they were cracked and they were obviously not good. So we have new off-centric bolts with the washers and everything. You can see the washer is literally setting up the angle of the wheel, and it is in between these 2 bits on the subframe. So that's why the car needed to go for a trucking, and that is all sorted. The car is going nice and straight. Also on the other side, same suspension arms for £1,000,000. But anyways, The rear one was a pain. Again, something what I thought it will be easy done, and it wasn't. So if Philip wouldn't show up today, I'll be in the soup, because I managed to put the spring and the shock absorber together. There was no tension at all, so I just literally put the top strut on it, tightened it, all good. Then we put it onto the top, so I was holding the shock. Philip put the bolts from the top of the chassis, and then the shock absorber was literally somewhere over here. The wheel physically didn't want to go higher or literally lower to fit the bolt through there. So what we had to do after many attempts, we have to drop the subframe. So we unscrew 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. We drop the whole subframe down, which allow us to actually fit the bolt. And when the shocks were in place, we literally jack up the subframe to the chassis and tighten it again. So that was fun. I believe these genuine shocks with springs will last easily another 10 years. So that is all sorted. I believe the oil is completely out now. So we're just gonna clean up generally the hole underneath. We're gonna put a new drain plug along the washer, change the filter on top, do the pollen filter, reset the interval, and I wanna do a DPF region. So next up, the owner did told me they wanna do a gearbox service as well. That should be done like every 40,000, but some people are saying it's lifetime, which is bull and shite. So yeah, get your gearbox service on time, guys. Don't leave it until it will die. So yeah, oil is out. We're gonna clean it and let's continue. So this is the oil filter. We have like really tiny, small bits, but this is something soft. It's not like bottom end bearing or anything. Also, the filter is not the worst. It looks sort of all right. Of course, every filter, because that's why the filter is there, you will have some stuff in the filter, because that's the purpose of the filter. Yeah, especially B9 owners, don't get scared, because if you didn't have the rocker arms done or the camshaft sprockets for the upgraded ones, unfortunately you will have sparklings in the filter all the time. Nothing you can do. So yeah, this one looks all right. Also, just to let you know, the oil is going from outer to inside of it, so that's why you have the stuff from outside all the time. Yeah, new filter coming on, we're gonna fit it in. So please explain me who was working here before us. Yeah, what the hell? Is it that difficult to actually change a pollen filter? Right, so we are test driving the Touareg at the moment, guys. We want to run it to a proper temperature, because next up we will do a stationary region as the last thing. I did meanwhile manage to work out the invoice. I'm not sure if the owners will be happy with it, but we did everything what we thought is wrong, and they agree on everything what we find and we think is wrong. So the sad story about the whole situation is, the car, well, it was perfectly fine until it come to a dead stop. And unfortunately, I don't want to say every garage is doing the same shit, but if you have like employees and you book a car for a service, you're gonna do a service, you don't really check all the other stuff. So when we have a diesel car, we always do a diagnostic, and minimum what we do is always check the injector values, even on the 4-cylinder cars, and tell the owner like, look, the injectors look good, or maybe it will need replacing soon or whatever, because recoveries are quite expensive, your time is quite expensive, and it's always better to do maintenance than be repairing something what's broken. So in this situation, unfortunately, the car went to a garage where it was diagnosed that there's a metal or some kind of debris in the filters, tank, I don't know what. You've seen the footage. I don't think there's an issue. Of course, there was some dust on the bottom of the tank for the filter, but nothing major. And of course, you're gonna get it always. Yeah, you never be clean. So that's why the filter is actually there. So we changed the filter, we check it inside, clean it all up, put a new filter in there. Everything seems to be fine. And the previous garage said you need a high pressure fuel pump because it's not doing pressure. Obviously, it wasn't doing pressure if one injector was overfueling like hell and it was hydro locking one of the cylinders, and the other one was like overfueling slowly but surely as well. So this owner was facing almost, I think, £8,000 bill. Don't know exactly, but anyway, she rang me, she told me, explained me, I told her what's going on. The car is here, it arrived on the recovery truck. However, again, injector failure. Yeah, so it is a common, because obviously this car did 143,000 miles on the clock, so no hard feelings. And unfortunately, it hit hard before Christmas with all the other things, which I understand. Obviously, if you don't want to get the stuff done because it is expensive, and bigger car you have, heavier car you have, everything is more and more expensive. So we didn't change the tires. They are worn out. The owner will change it because they have a better price. And basically just for tires, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, Michelinos on 20-inch wheel with SUV spec cross pilot. It's just for over £1,000 any day of the week. So if you're gonna have a Fiesta, even the tires gonna be cheaper. But because you own the Touareg, just the tires gonna like bankrupt you basically, easy. And again, injectors and all the other stuff, like I'm actually surprised that no one local, Euro Car Parts, GSF, Car Spares, couldn't supply a shock absorber with the spring on this car. What you seen on the website, I was able to get it, but I never heard about the brand and they look a bit Chinese. So on a car which is probably around 2 tons, I'm not sure if it's a smart idea to be fitting stuff what can go wrong, and it will actually lose the whole ability to work as a heavy SUV. So we fit everything genuine. Of course, the bill is high, but however, it's still probably half of the bill what meant to be changed, and on the end of the day you still need the injector, unfortunately. So yeah, the owner agreed to everything, so happy days. She will get the car back in best possible condition, and next step we'll be following is the gearbox service, what she did want to get done, but unfortunately I did told her like we can get it done from TPS, but TPS oil is really stupid money, and I really mean stupid money. So we are currently using the ZF kits, which is like for the gearbox, what it should be, and it's all good. So we will book it for later on, well obviously later on next year probably, because we have to pre-order it. Nobody have it in stock, and that's probably the last thing what needs doing on the car. So we are currently running a full operating temperature, guys. I'm going back to the workshop. We will try to do a stationary regen, because when I put my foot down still it is smoking a bit. And the last thing what you want to have behind you is Greta Thunberg on the blue lights on the electric helicopter telling you to pull over because the polar bears can't breathe all the dirty air from your dirty diesel. So yeah, we will try to do a regen like we did on the A7 last time. That will be probably 20 minutes easily. We'll check what's the DPF condition, and hopefully it will be all good afterwards. And we're also gonna check the injector values, which I'm very interested to see, because loads of people told me, oh don't worry, the values are all good, but I know they're not, so stay tuned. Very nice, all of them. So we are waiting to be all finished. The whole temperatures like intake, coolant, exhaust before and after looks good. The injectors are good. We're just waiting to the suit mass calculated comes to a 0. Still running. And I believe it'll be fine. The engine didn't seize up yet. That's always a good thing. And we're gonna give it probably a couple more minutes and it's all sorted. So it's all cooling down slowly. I think it will be finished in a minute, so the temperature is slowly coming down and it will be all done. I'll show you. Look.
Erosion of
You see erosion. Wonder that how happened. Okay guys, so the Touareg has left the chat. Unfortunately there was an issue right on the collection date. So where it was packed up overnight, there was a bit of oil on the floor. I thought it was rainwater, but now I'm thinking it wasn't raining for a couple of days. So TPS sent us a new plug, the drain plug with the washer, which was slightly bigger in diameter, and because the sump on the Touareg is like painted black, the groove from all over the years was much smaller, and when I tightened now it was literally like dripping. So we put back on the old drain plug with new washer, and seems to be all good. So the guys have left now, and let's have a look at all the invoicing. So here we have the invoice, guys. It is very high bill to be paid. But anyways, if you will have a look at the invoice, obviously the two injectors quite expensive to get. Then we have like a repair kit from TPS with all the gasket bolts and everything, oil filter, air filter, genuine pollen filter with fuel filter, and some plug with washer which was leaking, oil, front lava suspension arms and the rear shocks and everything, four-wheel alignment. We put 8 hours of labor on the whole work, and DPF region was including. So yeah, it is a hefty price, but if you own the Touareg, unfortunately there's no really other way than go genuine parts, which is what you've seen. If you really want to go like genuine injector, I believe genuine injector is about 600 plus from TPS. So the Bosch one from, I think, Euro Car Parts was like much cheaper. The owners actually left now, and I'm really hoping they'll be happy. The car will be performing fine and there'll be no issues. It is like 2014, but I did tell them like for the mileage and everything, it is a solid car. I drove it around yesterday and it seems good to me. So I think the car will go for many miles. When it comes to the prices from TPS, I was shocked as well when it comes to the rear shock, springs and arms and everything. I knew the lower front wishbones or the suspension arms will be expensive because very similar ones are on the transporters, and they are quite expensive to get as well. We did fit on the transporter like aftermarket ones, which was an option from Euro Car Parts, I believe, on the Touareg as well, which was cheaper by, I don't know, 100 and something pounds. But because the car's heavy and big, those suspension arms didn't last very long. So I know it looks all the same, there's a bit of a rubber, a bit of aluminium, ball joints, whatever, but you know, the quality is a bit different. So these suspension arms and everything what was on that Touareg was actually there from 2014. So I believe for the money what they pay, if it's gonna last for another 10 years, hopefully, I think it's a sort of a good deal. So even with brakes and everything, I'm saying genuine because for the money and the time they will last are probably the best option you can get. So yeah, I'm going home currently. It's for us, it's a Christmas day, and we will see in the next video. I have a few more videos coming up with the Audi S1, what we stripped down, we got to putting it back together, and I'm really hoping I will move on with the B5 during the days of like Christmas and New Year's Eve. So I'll be in the workshop. Unfortunately, I'm going home now because I have schnitzel ready and I will eat a lot. So enjoy the holidays, guys. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care for now.